Hello students, welcome to Tungal online classes. So already we have solved many number of bits at KCET level in level 1 and NEET level in level 2, and we are going to solve some more questions from our Tungal material itself, and all those questions are very important one, and you will have a more knowledge whenever you solve all those bets given in our material, right? So I hope you are solving all those bets on your own also along with that one. So you listen to me and you learn the skill of or the art of solving those bets itself, right? So let us start with the next question. What is the next question? So all these questions are very interesting one, and if you solve these questions you will be very happy, and simultaneously you will gain more knowledge from this animal tissues itself, right? So let us see the question now itself, right? So yellow bone marrow is found especially in the medullary cavity of, right? So we have studied so the macroscopic structure of the bone itself, mammalian bone. There we have studied three major sections. In one section, that is medullary cavity, is also one section. In that, so what is the question? Yellow bone marrow so is found in what type of so usually the bones this yellow bone marrow is available, especially it is a storage tissue. It stores the fat, much of the fat, and here the erythropoiesis is not taking place. Erythropoiesis is nothing but it is a production of RBCs itself, right? It doesn't take place over here. Then what type of bones it is available? Let us see the options first and later we'll analyze all those ones. Already I have explained this one in theory completely, so you know the answer better. Open the notes with you people, then you will certainly get the answer for this question in your notes itself, right? So if you prepared well the entire notes, then you will be so perfect in that, then you will certainly answer for this question. So there are some short bones are there are some long bones are there, as well as spongy bones are there in our body. Then in what kind of bone actually the yellow bone marrow is found? It is found usually in long bones. Where it is available? In long bones yellow bone marrow is present, and in children yellow bone marrow is completely absent. So as the age that increases that moment, so in adults especially half of the bone marrow will be yellow bone marrow and remaining half of the bone marrow will be a red bone marrow in which erythropoiesis is taking place, right? So then the answer itself is long bones. Okay, so then next question we are going to solve over here. So what is the next question? Example for embryonic connective tissue is, right? So this is a new question which is not there in NCERT, as well as the extra things I haven't explained this one. Now only we are going to start with these almonds jelly, Wharton's jelly, rice jelly, none of these. So what actually the answer is? So here you simply know the answer, that is enough for you people, right? So that is nothing but Wharton's jelly itself, right? Is the embryonic connective tissue, right? In embryo there is a connective tissue that is called as Wharton's jelly, and this is the gelatinous substance present in the umbilical cord. So what is umbilical cord? The question may arise over here. So mother is there, this is mother, and this is the fetus developing embryo. So developed embryo becomes a fetus. So there is a temporary connection between mother as well as fetus, and that temporary connection itself is nothing but, so it is said to be as a placenta which is there in the tissue of the uterus of the mother, and placenta that continues into a tubular structure, and that tubular structure itself is called as umbilical cord. And this umbilical cord, so that is containing one type of gelatinous substance, and that gelatinous substance itself is called as Warden's jelly. That's why answer itself is Warden's jelly. So it is an embryonic connective tissue. It is the best example for embryonic connective tissue. There is a gelatinous substance present in the umbilical cord. Umbilical cord is nothing but it is the temporary connection between the mother as well as child. So there is a placenta initially, placenta continues into umbilical cord. So you will study about this umbilical cord thoroughly in PUC2, that is in human reproduction chapter itself, right? So shall I go to the next question? The next question is, the rupture of urinary bladder is prevented by. The rupture of urinary bladder is prevented by one of the specialized tissue present in the urinary bladder. Many a times I have mentioned this one. So it is a kind of compound epithelium, that is nothing but transitional epithelium, which has multi-layered epithelial tissue, right? And this multi-layered epithelial tissue avoids or prevents the rupture of the wall of the urinary bladder. That's why answer is transitional epithelium. What is the name of that multi-layered epithelium? That is, transitional epithelium is usually present in the urinary bladder of the urinary bladder itself, right? So that's why this is the correct answer for this question, right? I hope you are getting all my points. Everything is there in your notes. If you studied it well, then you can answer for all these questions, right? Next. Yes, come to the next question. It's very interesting one, dear students. Let us see the question now. So what is that question? Transitional epithelium is found in. Where is this transitional epithelium found? Right? The answers are here. First one is glomerulus, nephron, urinary bladder, as well as urinary bladder, as well as one more option is given over here. That is urethra. What is that? Urethra is given over here. So then which is the correct answer for this question? So he is going to confuse us and many a times, right? So let us see the answer. Glomerulus. What is this glomerulus? You know, structural and functional units of kidney are nothing but they are nephrons. Let us draw the diagram and I will know where actually the glomerulus is present over here. See here. So this is Bowman's capsule in nephron, and this continue as the highly coiled tubular structure, which is known as the PCT, and it is followed by next one, that is DCT itself, and in the middle there is a small thin tubular structure. What we come across, this one is hairpin like a tubular structure. It is called as, and it is called as Henle's loop. This is called as PCT, and this is called as a DCT, and this is Bowman's capsule, BC. Bowman's capsule is there. Then what is glomerulus? See here. Here is a knot of blood vessels that acquire this position, and this is said to be as glomerulus, right? Glomerulus. So here in glomerulus, what is not found over here? Transitional epithelium is not found in glomerulus. That's why this is not the answer for this question. Then nephron, he says, it is also not the answer. And urinary bladder is there. Of course, it is correct answer. Why? Because the transitional epithelium is found in urinary bladder, of course, right? It is 100% right. Then is it the answer? So he gives one more option. That's why it is needed to read every answer over here. What is that? Urinary bladder as well as urethra, he says. And urinary bladder as well as urethra is the exact answer for this question. Why? Because In urethra also, what is present? Transitional epithelium is present over there. It is responsible for contraction and relaxation of these structures, that is urinary bladder as well as urethra. So when the urinary bladder is completely filled with the urine itself, there is movement, it's a kind of pressure that exerts over there and distension that occurs over here in the urinary bladder, so that that is nothing but removal of urine take place from the body, right? So that is why urinary bladder as well as urethra is the answer, correct answer for this question, right? So next question we shall go. Name the type of tissue that forms gland. Already I have given you the hint regarding this one in the theory part itself. What is that hint? Usually, if there is any gland occurs, it is lined by which tissue? If anybody asks you, directly you go through the cuboidal epithelium. That's why answer is always cuboidal epithelium. If it is gland, then answer is cuboidal epithelium. It is the correct answer, right? Epithelium tissue, of course epithelium is right. So what type of epithelium it is? Cuboidal epithelium. That is very important one, right? Next question is somewhat different over here. What is this different question which is given in our material, right? So Debose membrane. What is that? Debose membrane is a layer of, it is a layer of connective tissue. Remember, note down this point. So Debose membrane itself is the connective tissue membrane which is present especially in between the epithelial cells as well as underlying basement membrane, right? So I said in theory there is nothing is there, no tissue is there. So below the epithelial cells or the epithelial cells are so standing on the basement membrane. Many a times I have told you, but this is one exceptional case. This is a connective tissue actually. So below the basement membrane there must be one connective tissue that binds this epithelium to the other tissue. Okay, so but here, so there is a connective membrane is there which is lying between the epithelial cells and the basement membrane. That is called as Debose membrane, which is especially seen in case of, already I have told you it is an exceptional case. That's why it is present only in case of intestinal epithelium. Where it is present? It is present in the intestinal epithelium. Where it is? Debose membrane is present in the intestinal epithelium, right? So then what actually this one is? Then it is a connective membrane. Connective tissue membrane it is. A sheet of connective tissue it is, right? That lies between epithelial cells as well as lower lying basement membrane. Let's go to the next question. What is the next question? The lining of intestine and kidney in humans is, what is the human intestine as well as kidney are lined with? See here, especially the kidney that contains nephrons over here. So what is it lined with? You may ask the question. So here one hint is there in intestine. It is always lined with the columnar epithelium. It is a known thing for you people, right? So intestine itself is lined with columnar epithelium. So this columnar epithelium that contains pillar-like epithelial cells, and that pillar-like epithelial cells have many number of cytoplasmic processes. See here, if this one is the inner lining of a small intestine, right? It is lined with columnar epithelium. It is lined with columnar epithelium, and if you enlarge this portion, then imagine yourself So this is one column shaped epithelial cell that has a brush border over here. This is one cell. And another cell is also same like this. This is also column shaped cell, and this is said to be as brush border. What it is said to be as brush border, right? So it is not visible for you. Here I am going to draw over here. This is one columnar cell which has many microscopic processes. That is here like cytoplasmic processes or extensions that we come across. They are finger-like projections and they are called as microvilli, and it is making the brush border in intestine as well as some parts of the kidney, especially in the PCT part. So in PCT part it is aligned with brush bordered epithelium, right? So but here cuboidal, there it is columnar, right? So this is the only difference, but the common one itself is brush border. Then where is the answer? See here, brush bordered one. So it is not ciliated, keratinized, and none of this. Keratinized in the sense that there should be the keratin protein that is deposited in the cells, right? So that's why correct answer is brush bordered epithelium. Okay, this is also over. Next question. The kind of tissue that forms the supportive structure in our ear pinna is also found in. See here, ear pinna is there. In this ear pinna, what is this ear pinna made up of? Already I have told you, ear pinna itself is made up of what? One type of a tissue, that is cartilaginous tissue. Yellow fibers are many in this ear pinna, hence it is so flexible in nature. Elastin is the type of protein present in elastic fibers or yellow fibers, right? So the same tissue is also found in, he says, he asked this question, is also found in, see the options, vertebrae, right? Vertebrae means in vertebral column there are some bones are there, they are called as vertebrae. Nails, of course, these nails itself. Ear ossicles in the sense that in the middle ear there is a chain of 3 ear ossicles, malleus, incus, stapes. They are the small bones, chain of small bones. Ear ossicles they are. And the last one is the tip of nerves, right? So cartilage is especially present in the tip of the nerves, which is more flexible in nature. That's why. So this is also the answer for this question. Another part in which cartilaginous tissue that we come across is tip of nerves. So that's why vertebrae is not answer, nails is not answer, ear ossicles are also not at all the answer for this question. The answer is tip of nerves, right? So let us go to the next question. Very interesting one. So let us see here, body parts are given over here, and these body parts are moved with the help of specialized muscles. What are the names of muscles he has given over here itself? Then what we have to do? We have to identify the correct matched one. Correct matched one. Right? So let us see. Heart wall, involuntary muscles are there and they are unstriated, he is saying. Is it correct? Heart wall is made up of a specialized tissue, and that specialized tissue is made up of the specialized muscle fibers, right? Muscular tissue made up of muscle fiber which has striations and branched one. It is branched one. The striations are there, but he says unstriated. Is it the correct answer? No, never. It is wrong answer. Correct? Next one. Iris voluntary. Iris involuntary. Of course, iris is nothing but it is present inside the eyes, responsible for the coloration of the eye. Whenever you study the structure of eye, that moment you will come to know where actually this iris is present, right? So iris involuntary. Of course, iris has involuntary muscles and smooth muscles they are. So that's why, so the answer is this one. This might be the answer. Alright. So we'll expect. Why? Because two more are there. Alright. This is the correct matched one. The correct one. So that's why I say this is correct one. Okay, third one. Biceps of upper arm. See here, this is the upper arm. Somebody asked the question, upper arm is there, it has one bone and that bone is humerus. It is a kind of long bone in our body. Actually the longest bone in our body itself is femur, that is thigh bone is the longest bone. Next one is humerus. So this humerus is also a kind of long bone, and this humerus so is there, and here the biceps are here itself, and they are made up of muscles. So if we want to lift the hand like this, these muscles would help for that one. Then they are working under the will of the human being, right? So then what is the question here? Let us see. Biceps of upper arm, they are made up of smooth muscles. He says smooth muscles. Usually they are present in the intestine, abdominal wall, that is nothing but the stomach wall. So there they are present, and they are working very slowly, right? And these are made up of smooth muscles, especially there itself. But here, biceps of upper arm, they are not smooth muscles, they are skeletal muscles attached to the bone. They are attached to the bone. That's why these are not smooth muscles. Then the answer is wrong. This is not the answer. Next one, abdominal wall and smooth muscles. Of course, he has given abdominal wall and smooth muscles. Abdominal wall is made up of smooth muscles, we can agree. But here this is also correct answer for the question, right? Then automatically there are two answers that you get. Again you will get confused. That's why. So some will make some changes over here. Abdominal wall, which is made up of smooth muscles, so they are voluntary. If you say it like this, they are not actually the voluntary muscles, they are involuntary in nature, then automatically this statement would also be wrong. Then which is the correct answer? Iris involuntary, it is smooth muscles is the right answer for this question, right? So some printing mistakes are there, or some other reasons are there. So this kind of small mistakes that we come across over here. So let it be. So answer is totally iris involuntary smooth muscles, made up of involuntary smooth muscles. Then it is the answer for this question. Next question is, the wall of the internal organs such as blood vessels, stomach, intestine contains this type of muscle tissue. What type of muscles all these structures are made up of? He is asking, right? So previously in the last question only I have explained. So that is the wall of the internal organs like blood vessels, stomach is made up of smooth muscles, intestine also smooth muscles, blood vessels also smooth muscles. Then automatically the answer is smooth muscle fibers is the correct answer. Striped muscle fibers, he says. So if these are striped one, they are voluntary in nature. If you ordered your stomach as well as intestine to contract and relax, then only they contract and relax. But they are not listening to your orders. They are working on their own. That's why they are not striped muscles. Cardiac muscles that make the heart itself. Here he has given stomach, intestine as well as blood vessels itself. And the next one, neutral tissue he has given. There is no neutral tissue. So that's why this is also not the answer. Smooth muscle fibers itself is the answer for this question. Next one. Erythropoiesis starts in, already you know erythra means red, poiesis means production of red blood corpuscles that take place, that starts in red bone marrow itself, right? This is the answer which is known to us, solve the bit very easily then. So what is that? A red bone marrow is the correct answer for this one, not the kidney, spleen, liver. In the spleen as well as liver, so destruction of these RBC, WBC that take place over here, hence spleen is it as dustbin over here. So that's why we solved some of the bits, and we'll go to the next bit now itself. Next question is, macrophages are modified. So what are these macrophages? Already I have told you, these are the specialized cells whose body is made up of single cell and irregular shaped cell. These are, and they are phagocytic in nature. They are modified cells of the monocytes. What these are? They are the modified cells of monocytes, right? So that is the monocytes are nothing but macrophages, right? So that is why answer is monocytes. So myelin of nerve fiber of CNS is produced and maintained by, already I have told you CNS where the myelin sheath is made up of so and so cells, and in PNS myelin sheath is made up of so and so cells, right? In CNS especially it is made up of, it is maintained by, so one option A, microglial cells, cavern cells, astrocytes as well as oligodendrocytes. Already you know better. So these are the oligodendrocytes which are forming the myelin sheath in central nervous system and cavern cells in peripheral nervous system. That's the correct answer is oligodendrocytes, right? So next one. Desmosomes are, what these desmosomes are? They are also kind of cellular junctions, right? So these are nothing but, so they are the connecting bodies between the cells. This is the correct answer. Why? Because fat storage cells not at all, right? So pigment bodies, no, none of these, right? So that's why they are the connecting bodies between cells. They are fibrous connecting bodies that connect to two cells over here. They are nothing but desmosomes, right? So next one, the cell membranes of adjacent cells are fused at the cell junction, right? So here are some important terms are given over here. What these terms are actually? So let us analyze them, then you will come to know the answer over here. So the cell membranes of adjacent cells are fused at the cell junction. Which junction they are fused? Macula adherens is one, right? So these macula adherens are nothing but they are the desmosomes. These are desmosomes. And zonula occludens. What is this zonula occludens? This is also one kind of what? A cellular junction. So they are nothing but tight junctions. What these are? These are tight junctions. And zonula adherens, these are adhering junctions. And nexus is nothing but it is the connection between two adjacent things, right? So that's why the cell membranes of adjacent cells are fused at the cell junction. So that is desmosomes, tight as well as adhering junction itself, right? What is the answer for this question? See here, all the junctions are given over here. One is a tight junction, another one is adhering junction as well as a desmosome. So all the three kinds are given over here, but here the cell membrane is fused. He has mentioned very clearly. What it shows is cells are tightly attached each other. That is nothing but tight junctions. Then zonula occludens is the answer for this question, right? Next one. Which of the following is not found in the connective tissue? What is not found in connective tissue? See the options. So collagen fibers. Collagen fibers are mainly present in connective tissue, right? And basement membrane. Basement membrane is always seen in case of epithelial tissue. Then this is not available in connective tissue. Then this is the correct answer for this one. Hyaluronic acid. So this is the specialized acid which is present inside the connective tissue itself, right? Eyes it is present in, and it is also present in some of the structures which retain the water and keep the tissues always, the tissue cells always moist itself. That is the major function of this hyaluronic acid. That's why this is also present in the connective tissue. Fluid is also present in the connective tissue. So that's why these three are present, but basement membrane is absent over here. That's why correct answer is basement membrane. And the next one, hyaline cartilage does not have. Hyaline cartilage is a specialized cartilaginous tissue which doesn't have direct blood capillary connection. That is nothing but, so blood capillaries are not present in this one. That's why correct answer is, so what? Blood capillaries. Fibers are present, lacunae are present, and even cells are present over there. That's why correct answer for this question is blood capillaries. There is no direct connection of blood vascular system to this hyaline cartilage itself. Next one. So it is very clearly explained by me in the theory itself, right? So which is known as barrier layer, right? This is so somewhat very interesting aspect over here. Here directly I shall explain the answer only. So see here, stratum corneum itself is acting as the primary barrier over here in between the body as well as the outer environment. Why? Because it is present on the outermost part of the skin, that is epidermis, right? So where the cells that avoid or that act as the barrier between the environment, outer environment as well as the body, right? So that the stratum corneum is present inside the skin, act as the primary barrier, right? So it acts as the primary barrier over here. So stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, stratum lucidum. Especially we can explain this one also, stratum lucidum. So this is also present in the dead layer of foot and the palm. So in palm, here the translucent cells are seen over here under the microscope whenever you take the cells from the palm as well as sole of the foot itself, right? So there the cells are translucent in nature. They are also acting as the barriers, of course, but not complete the body, right? Not the primary barriers they are acting as. That's why correct answer for this one is stratum corneum, right? So next question, which of the following is not a neuroglial cells? Right? It is very clear. There are three types of neuroglial cells. Astrocytes are there, oligodendrocytes are there, as well as microglial cells are there. So except that one, other cells are said to be as what? They are said to be as not the neuroglial cells. What are those ones? Chondrocytes, chondrin is nothing but it is one of the tissues, one of the skeletal tissues which is smooth skeletal tissues, that is present in the ear pinna itself, cartilaginous tissue, that is made up of chondrocytes itself, chondrin, right? So next one, which salt predominates in bone matrix? In bone matrix, so there are some salts are there like calcium mainly, as well as calcium as well as phosphate itself, right? So these are the predominant salts present in the bone matrix. Read the following statements and choose the correct option. So options are given in your material. See the options. So which is correct? That one mark there. If the options are wrong, then only we'll have to identify the correct statements over here, right? So let us see. Blood cells secrete fibers of structural protein like collagen as well as elastin. This is the wrong statement over here, right? Blood cells do not produce these one. So fibroblasts are the specialized cells, they produce this one. Neuroglial cells protect and support the nephrons. Correct statement. Of course, they support and protect the nephrons is given over here. That's why this is also wrong. Neurons. It protect and support the neurons, right? Not nephrons. That's why this is also wrong. Osteocytes are present in spaces called lacunae. Of course, this is correct statement. And striated muscle fibers are bundled together in a parallel fashion. Of course, these are bundled so as to form fascia. I have already told you, right? Biceps are involuntary and striated, he is saying. So they are not involuntary, so they are voluntary in nature. That's why this statement is also wrong one, right? So then how many are wrong, how many are correct? So let us see here. First one is wrong. Neuroglial cells, nephrons, it is also wrong. Osteocytes are present in the lacunae. Of course, osteocytes are the bone cells, so they are present in the lacunae. It is correct. Striated muscle fibers are bundled together in parallel fashion. Of course, it is also right. Then 3 and 4 are right. So 1, 2 as well as 5 are wrong over here. So this is the correct answer for this question, right? So next question we shall go through. What is the next question? Secretion of tears, milk, sweat and oils that take place by some of the cells. They may be unicellular cells or multicellular glands, right? Unicellular glands, multicellular glands that we come across, they secrete these kind of materials, right? So they are all made up of what? They are all made up of the following tissues, right? So what are those tissues? Especially glands are formed from epithelial tissue. So not the nervous, not the loose connective, not the lymphoid organs, right? So that's why answer is epithelial tissue. Come to the next question, very interesting question. So that question is there for you people. And what is the question? Let us see, right? So what is the question? See there, versa. Mummies of Egypt still have their arteries preserved due to the presence of cartilage, yellow elastic fibers, walls, white fibrous connective tissue. So is the options over here. So let us see. In Egypt, the mummies are there. So they have been preserved. Mummies are nothing but dead bodies of human beings or some other animals. So they may be preserved by using some of the chemical components. Sometimes naturally they have been preserved over here, because when they are exposed to some of the chemical components or they are not exposed to any air, so they are kept inside some vacuums. That moment they do not degrade themselves. Why? Because of some smooth tissues which are preserved over there inside body, so that is responsible for preservation itself. They are especially cartilage is given now. Yellow elastic fibers is the correct answer for this question. Why? Because these are the fibers which do not undergo degradation for long period if they are not exposed to any air or outer environment itself, right? Walls, white fibers, connective tissue. This is the correct answer for this question. And blood-brain barrier is formed, right? Very important question. Blood-brain barrier, right? So barrier is nothing but it avoids the entry, right? So blood and brain, so there is a barrier in between these two. So blood, whenever it enters into that one, that moment it carries many number of things into it. So but here barrier is present in between these two. So because of some specialized cells present there, and they are acting as the barriers over here, right? So very interesting it is. So what happens if the blood directly enters into the brain tissue? What happens? Many of the pathogens, many of the microscopic organisms, so they may enter directly into the brain, that damage the tissue itself. So that's why, so as to avoid these ones, there are some specialized cells, they act as the barrier. And what are those specialized cells? So they are astrocytes, right? What they are? Astrocytes. They are protective in nature. In theory we have studied that one. Microglial cells as well as oligodendrocytes, ependymal cells. So these are the specialized cells which act as the blood-brain barrier itself, right? So that's why so these are some of the questions what I have solved from level 2. So you solve some more questions that I have left for you people, and they are very easier one, and they are mentioned in the theory class very clearly. I hope you will do all those one, and maximum of the questions I have solved on myself, and you have, I hope you have understood all these one very clearly, and so solve other bits also. Thank you very much.